If you like my videos, don't forget to follow me on social media to keep up to date with all the latest news regarding my channel and my content. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe below or at the end of the video. G'day guys, Dave Lee coming at you once again from Down Under with another movie review. In this video, I will be delivering a completely spoiler-free review of the highly anticipated movie 10 Years in the Making from Marvel Studios and Walt Disney Pictures. Directed by Joe and Anthony Russo and starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Don Cheadle, Tom Holland, Tom Hiddleston, Paul Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Chris Pratt, Dave Bautista, Zoe Saldana, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Pom Clementieff, Karen Gillan, Chadwick Boseman, Denai Guerrera, Letitia Wright, Benedict Wong, Gwyneth Paltrow, Idris Elba, Benicio Del Toro, Peter Dinklage, and Josh Brolin, with a few others. Phew. What a mouthful. It is, of course, Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War marks the 19th entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which also happens to be celebrating its 10th anniversary this very year. Clearly one of the most highly anticipated movies of the decade and one of the most highly guarded, to say that this is just about the biggest movie of all time almost seems like an understatement. That being the case, I'd be a little bit of a jerk if I spoiled anything about it, so again I'm leaving this completely spoiler-free and not really going to go into great detail on the synopsis other than what everybody already knows. Obviously, the movie follows the Avengers, who are now disbanded into separate factions after the events of Civil War. But at the same time, they find themselves having to fight off their biggest foe yet, the Mad Titan Thanos, whose plight of galactic domination is finally rounding to a conclusion as he finally begins to pull together all 6 Infinity Stones, which will afford him ultimate power. Along for the ride this time around are Doctor Strange, who teams up with Tony Stark and Bruce Banner on Earth, and of course the Guardians of the Galaxy, who team up with Thor on an intergalactic adventure after meeting up with him following his solo adventures in Thor Ragnarok. Other than this, I won't be speaking anymore on the movie's plot, but please allow me to share a few thoughts. Okay, so where do I even start with this review? I've only just come out of the screening for this movie half an hour ago, and I'm still trying to compartmentalize everything. I'm still trying to put my thoughts together so I can do this review, but I've got to get it out there and I've got to meet the embargo. This movie, it's incredible, first and foremost. It is bigger, it's badder, it's bolder, it is more brutal, it is more heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, it is more emotionally satisfying than anything that has come before it in the MCU, but also in cinema. You're gonna laugh at me, you're gonna go, you're a fanboy, you're fanboying. No, as someone who loves movies, as a lover of cinema my entire life, I have never seen anything like this. This movie is unlike any movie that has ever been put to the screen in the fact that it has such a large scope and it has so much going on. It's got so much going for it. It's also got so much going against it. I have to call it, this is the single most ambitious movie that has ever been made. There is so much going on in this movie, so much happens in 2.5 hours, so much is constantly going on the screen that this movie could have been awful. This movie could have just completely fallen to crap, and it's a big testament to the incredible filmmaking and storytelling abilities of the Russo brothers who directed this movie, to be able to put this movie on the screen and actually succeed on such a level. And that's the one thing that I was going into the movie with trepidation about, and I think everyone who's going into this movie is a little bit nervous about that. This is a payoff of 10 years worth of cinema, and this is literally 10 franchises, 19 movies converging for the very first time like this. The Avengers was such a huge revelation after 6 years. It pulled together like 3 or 4 franchises. Civil War was quite enormous, in which it brought the Avengers back together and brought in all these new characters and stuff. But this movie, this is like a completely different realm. We are grabbing other franchises who have not even been a whisper in the eye of the Avengers. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy joining us for this ride. We have got Doctor Strange joining us for this ride. Both of these are such a big presence in this movie. We've got Black Panther coming back. We of course had Black Panther and Civil War, but we never really explored Wakanda in an Avengers movie before. There's just so much going on in this movie, and the Russo brothers pull it off so well. The best way I can put it is that if you're a comic book fan, if you've read a crossover event in your lifetime, this movie in essence is the film version of a comic book crossover. Say, for example, you take a crossover which grabs maybe 3 or 4 different comic lines and then converges them all, and each comic line has their own sort of story arc, and then they converge in the big crossover event. But at the same time, each different comic line maintains their own artistic integrity, it maintains their own style, and in the way of this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy stays very thematically and emotionally Guardians of the Galaxy. It's funny, very funny. It has the music of a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It has the heart of a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Each sort of individual part of this movie maintains its own style, its own theme, and again, its own artistic integrity, that it doesn't feel like any of these franchises have been compromised at all. And when you get the convergence of certain elements, it just works so well. It's been done so wonderfully, so beautifully. If you thought Avengers was ambitious, if you thought Civil War was big and bold, this movie just leaves them to the dumps. This movie makes them look like a bag of peanuts. Whatever that means. I think I've just coined a new phrase. I really sat there and I went, you know, we went into Civil War and this was the biggest thing we'd seen so far. This movie is like 10 times that. In essence, this movie really is a capsule of everything that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This movie respects the franchise, it respects what's come before so much, but it also respects the fans and goes, you know what, you guys have been here for 10 years, you've followed this journey for a decade, you've followed these characters, you've fallen in love, you have been emotionally invested. Here is the payoff, here is our love letter to you. And in saying that, I feel like if someone comes into this movie having not seen any of the past movies, they're going to be just so lost. I overheard people in the cinema saying, what was going on? I was so confused. What was happening here? Who's this guy? Who's that guy? It's in the past, you could say, you know what, Civil War, maybe you didn't need to have such a huge knowledge of the MCU going into that. It would have helped, but I think people could appreciate it as a standalone movie. But this one, you have to have at least seen the main movies to really comprehend what's going on. Performances in this movie are absolutely fantastic. I don't know if I have a standout because I just thought everyone gives their all in every single one of these movies, and I think just everyone as an ensemble cast worked so well together. It was wonderful to see characters communicate with each other who hadn't communicated with each other before. Josh Brolin is incredible as Thanos. This is the most believable, most brutal, most layered villain we've had in the MCU. Maybe next to Loki. And I think that's because Thanos has been kind of the thread that links all these movies up for the last 10 years. I loved this movie. This is just such an amazing thing to be able to see on the screen. Not just this movie, but this franchise as a whole is one of the greatest things that's ever been put on the big screen before. And this movie is a testament to that. I loved it, and I have no qualms. Laugh at me, call me a fanboy, whatever you want. I'll be giving this movie 6 Infinity Stones out of 6. This movie is everything I ever wanted it to be and so much more. And it is the perfect payoff for being so invested in this franchise for an entire decade so far, and makes me really excited for the future. Avengers Infinity War is not only one of the biggest movies of the MCU, but one of the biggest and most ambitious movies of all time. Big, brutal, heart-wrenching, and emotionally shattering and satisfying all at once. This is not only what comic book movies are all about, but what cinema is all about. Go and see Infinity War. It's amazing. If this is the first of my reviews you've seen, you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, then please don't hesitate to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen right now. If you're feeling a little extra generous, then please hit that like button down below. It does a great deal in getting my videos out there. Look guys, I hope I'll see you all again soon. Until next time, take care, and I hope you have a marvelous day. Excelsior!